like this cigarette is a metaphor and you're like, So John Green has a new book coming out. I decided that I wanted to reread John Green books that I loved in 8th grade because I haven't read them since then. And I remember loving them at the time, but now that I'm older and wiser and hopefully have more of a critical eye, I wanted to see if they were still good. When I was in 8th grade, I loved John Green, like every other 8th grader in 2014. I was like,
he is an artist.
Also, Ansel Elgort, who R.I.P. He's not dead, just to me. I don't know how to like things in a casual way. I didn't just like John Green, I made it my whole personality. We have them all here. I'm only gonna read the main ones, which are Fault in Our Stars, Paper Towns, and Looking for Alaska. The only one that I've actually reread is Looking for Alaska. I know people, they think it's like boring and nothing happens. I really liked it. I actually have a signed copy. I also have it on my wall. I like this book. Come at me. That's all I have to say. Paper Towns. This one was like my least favorite. I just remember being really disappointed by the ending. Fault in Our Stars. I feel like this was definitely the most popular and I really did love this book. It's like kind of cringe. Like I'm so aware of that. The first time I read these books, I was younger than these characters. I was like,
being 16 and 17 is gonna be amazing.
And now I'm 20 and I've already been 16 and 17 and I'm like, was it though? Was it? Maybe I will cringe. All 14-year-olds are cringy.
Let's ride.
This book is sad. Understatement of the year. Is it kind of cringy? Yeah. Am I kind of swooning? I think it's so embarrassing to have feelings, but like, I do have them. Freaking Augustus Waters is charming me. That son of a gun. I've decided to puzzle while listening to the audiobook.
But Gus, my love, I cannot tell you how thankful I am for our little infinity. You gave me a forever within the numbered days, and I'm grateful.
I just smoked for 60 years, apparently. I just finished reading The Fault in Our Stars, and I am unwell. Fit check. I'm about to go to Mother's Day dinner, but first I'm gonna start reading Looking for Alaska. Okay. I finished reading John Green books. But I don't know how reading 3 John Green books back to back was. I am feeling very existential. I'm just kind of like, all right. Okay, starting with Paper Towns. The first time that I read it, I like loved Margot. I thought of her the way that Quentin thought of her. I was like,
she's a miracle, she's amazing, she's so cool, so adventurous, and I was like, yeah, like she's real. Everyone else in this town is paper and she's real.
And then this time when I was reading it, I was like, Margot's kind of a bitch. What really frustrated me about Margot is how privileged she is. She's like talking about her life and she says, it's all so boring. Like your parents are gonna pay for you to go to college. And I guess it's kind of a hard argument because college really isn't for everyone, but it's just kind of frustrating how she's like, I'm different. I'm like, girl, like just wait it out. My 14-year-old self was like,
oh my gosh, she's gonna escape, she's gonna be free.
And then reading it as a 20-year-old, I was like, no, all of your problems are a symptom of you being in high school. I think Margot is genuinely a cool girl, but problem is she's so in that world of like high school and that fakeness that she can't see past it. And I think if Margot would just wait, like she's literally 3 months away from graduating. If she could just like get through graduation and go to college, she would thrive. She just thinks that she's gonna beat the system, but I'm like, how? Like she's literally homeless by the end of the book. I'm just kind of like, okay. I was 14. I thought this was a book about Margot, but now I'm like, it's not about Margot. It's about Quentin and him realizing that people are just people. They're not ideas. Like, oh, she's just a person. But I think my 14-year-old self was like,
she's not just a person, she's so real.
There's this great moment. As I trail off, I hear them making one another laugh. Not the words exactly, but the cadence, the rising and falling pitches of banter. I like just listening, just loafing on the grass. And I decide that if we get there on time, but I don't find her, that's what we'll do. We'll drive around the Catskills and find a place to sit around and hang out, loafing on the grass, talking, telling jokes. I really liked it because Quentin romanticizes Margot and then he realizes that he shouldn't do that. But what he should be romanticizing is, you know, his friends and the moments that he has with them. When I was 14, I talked about the Fault in Our Stars so much that I had a shortcut in my phone. If I typed in TFIOS, it would just come out The Fault in Our Stars, because that's how much I talked about this book. I was really nervous to reread it. I was like, shit, it's not gonna live up to my expectations. It's like, it's so, I get it, it's cringe. He's like, this cigarette is a metaphor, and you're like, bleh. Like when they say poetry to each other, I'm like, shut up, just shut up. But I will say, I bawled my freaking eyes out, man. It's just like sweet. Everything that, what's his name? I was about to say Van Halen. Everything that Van Houten says, I'm just like, F you, man, you suck. Gus is really pretentious, and if I was his friend, I might bully him. But Hazel's kind of pretentious too, so it works for them. Okay, so I did read 3 John Green books back to back, and by the time I got to Looking for Alaska, I was kind of like, we get it, you're a misunderstood teen. I think my shorts are on backwards. When I first read this book and I got to the after, I literally threw it across the room. It's not perfect. I think there are a lot of scenes where you're just kind of like, eye roll. But it still has those qualities that I loved about it as a 14-year-old, and I think I'll probably return to it again. I really like the themes, obviously, of kind of a teenager who feels misunderstood. A lot of the lessons are just that life, it's not perfect. The world's not a wish-granting factory. At the end of the day, the great perhaps is just appreciating the people you spend time with. The first time I tried to film this, they were mowing the lawn, and now it's pouring down rain outside. Let's talk about John Green. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I was fully prepared to make this video and read these books and cringe at myself and make fun of my 14-year-old self plus other girls or people who are fans of these YA books. I don't know why I felt like it would be a good idea for my first ever video to just come after a beloved YouTube author and just immediately start at peace. But that didn't really happen. I wanted this video to be funny, and I was gonna make fun of Augustus Waters for being a pretentious little shit, but she is. And I know this really isn't new information, but John Green is a good writer. Like, oh my gosh, have y'all heard of him? He's smart and funny, and he gets criticized for being pretentious, but I don't think that's the case. I think he's just intelligent, and that comes across in his writing. I picked up the Anthropocene Reviewed the day it came out and read it very quickly. This line stuck out to me because it kind of encapsulated everything I've been feeling about John Green and his books. Almost everything easy to mock turns out to be interesting if you pay close attention. I actually was thinking about this with that scene in The Fault in Our Stars. Spoilers, by the way. If you don't know The Fault in Our Stars, why are you watching this video? Go read that book. Anyway, in that scene where they kiss in the Anne Frank house, I think I read it while I was like doing the vlogging portion. And then they kiss in the Anne Frank house and you're like, no, don't do it. Don't do it, don't do it. But Hazel says something about it, thinking that you cannot kiss anyone in the Anne Frank house, and then thinking that Anne Frank, after all, kissed someone in the Anne Frank house, and that she would probably like nothing more than for her home to have become a place where the young and irreparably broken sink into love. So that's kind of sweet still. I don't know how I feel about the old Anne Frank kiss. For a while, I was a very big fan of John Green, and I was very open about it, and then I think I grew up and got kind of embarrassed to admit that I liked reading YA romance because it seemed frivolous and immature. I think a lot of media whose target audience is young and primarily female is deemed not good or cheesy or embarrassing and childish, but art is subjective, and to totally discredit books or movies or music directed at young female audiences is just completely unfair, because, you know, young girls can be smart and they can have good taste and they can read what they want. Girls learn to be embarrassed about their taste. I mean, I think sometimes it can be cheesy, and I think it is important to be able to laugh at yourself or admit when something that you once liked might not have been the best. Twilight. You can't just completely mock a whole genre. Like I said, John Green, he's a good writer. I like John Green's books because he has an incredible talent for finding beauty in the mundane. He writes about teenagers and their lives, and they feel like real people going through real things. The plots and lives are fairly simple, but their stories are important. And he doesn't glamorize the illnesses or the trauma, even though some of his characters might. But by the end, the characters realize what John Green knew all along, which is that people are messy and life isn't perfect, but at the end of the day, you only have the one life, so you might as well make the most of it. So if you haven't already bought the Anthropocene Reviewed, you should. It's a great read. Every first published copy is signed. It's really good. I feel like whenever I told people, they'd be like,
What are you reading?
I'd be like,
Anthropocene Reviewed.
they'd be like,
I don't know what any of that means. The Anthropocene is the current geologic age in which humans have profoundly reshaped the planet and its biodiversity. Best-selling author John Green reviews different facets of the human-centered planet on a 5-star scale.
So basically he just takes a bunch of different things and writes these short little essays in which he reviews them. It is about those things and their relationship to him personally, their relationship to humanity, but it's also somewhat of a memoir because while he's explaining this specific thing on a global scale, he also explains it in relation to his personal life. He writes, "What you're looking at matters, but not as much as how you're looking or who you're looking with." I give Anthropocene Reviewed 5 stars. Go read this book. Read all of his books, except for Abundance of Catherine's. This video might be a little bit choppy. Sorry about it. Okay, bye. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. I am hopefully going to be making a lot more book videos this summer. If you are interested in watching those, you could subscribe to my channel. You don't have to. I'll see you later. Bye.